Okay, see, this train looks fine here. That's perfectly reasonable other than the people who are sitting on top of the train.
Why are there people on top of the train?
I don't know why. They sit perfectly fine inside the train when it's actually, running. But the driver likes to sit on the nose, and the passengers sort of sit on top of the pantograph, which seems like a bad place for passengers to sit, at least just in the preview.
Something tells me you messed up on your models or something.
I don't think so. I think it's just Train Simulator being super weird. All right, so we're going to use the CPRR1 NEC prototype. We're going to use our custom one, though. We're going to do London to Brighton, not from Norwood Junction. We're going to start at London Victoria, going all the way to Brighton Fest. Autumn seems reasonable, actually, since it's autumn.
Sounds good.
Let's do a clear. Let's set it a little bit earlier. We'll see what the time ends up looking like. And then fingers crossed the Train Simulator is going to actually cooperate this time.
Hey, we found Loading Screen Simulator 2017. We're doing good tonight.
No Train Simulator World tonight, although we certainly have had fun with Train Sim World lately.
According to him, I have no idea what this game is.
You should check it out. I mean, you should check out my videos. You should all check out my videos. Let's hope. I'm going to press 2, and we're going to hope it doesn't explode. No explosions. Hooray! All right, so let's do this properly. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Doing the introduction again. So, KermMartian here, back with Train Simulator 2017. This is episode 23. We're going to be driving the CPRR1 prototype, this time on the London to Brighton branch. And tonight with me, I have a special guest.
Hello.
This is Geekboy1011 of Chematech and elsewhere fame. He is here this weekend because we are showing off our graphing calculator projects at World Maker Faire 2017. Now, I am going to get us going, and then we can talk a little bit more about what we're doing this weekend, etc. Set sail since forward, clear our AWS. Might as well open our doors momentarily.
Ooh, fancy.
Yep.
And then totally not matched coach cars.
Well, yeah, so the CPRR1, I don't know, how much do you actually know about the CPRR1?
I know that the nose cone goes nom nom nom, and
Yum.
that's about at it.
Yep. Nom 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 nom.
What's up, Hazmat?
Nom nom nom.
Welcome to the stream.
How's it going? Welcome. Let's get some headlights on while we're playing with the front of our train.
Ooh, and we have a JMO. Howdy, JMO.
Hey, JMO, you're back. You actually made it to the stream this time instead of catching up with us late. I hear we have a Class 377 arriving over here. London to Brighton, of course.
I'm afraid I don't really know what your question's asking, otherwise I would.
Alright, gotta make sure we don't have that blinds up. Alright, so we appear to have our signal. Our passengers have loaded, so let's get going. Oh, let's also hope this is the one that can actually go. Alright, now, don't forget, CPRR1 has 2,000 horsepower of locomotion. So we're going to be struggling a little bit to get started here, and I'm going to keep us in notch 3 so we don't wheel slip. But I'll tell you a little bit more about CPRR1 as we go. I've talked about it.
Before we do that,
yes.
Lil Supreme is claiming they're asking a question.
Yes, so that was the question of, can you do lash ups in Train Simulator? And I was asking in response. I think you may have missed that, Lil Supreme. I am not sure what you mean in this context, at least. Yes, that I did indeed see that question. I strongly suspect the answer is yes, because pretty much anything you can do with moving trains and subsets of trains and wagons and cars around works. But what do you mean specifically? I suspect it's something you'd have to make a custom scenario certainly for. Gotta go. Oh no. See you later, JMO444. You just got here and you're already leaving us. Also, I've turned up my quality a lot more, so I'm hoping we'll look good today. We are about to start speeding. Let's not do that. Leave
but we gotta go fast.
Speed! To quote my very favorite person who says speed. We're speeding. We're speeding. Let's not speed. I would do this with the controls. My nice controls over here, but I'd rather just use the keyboard for this evening since we are quite sleepy after a long and busy day.
Clearly, you should hook up a calculator as a throttle and play with the calculator.
That's not
Easily
a bad idea.
Easier done than you think, actually.
Really?
Yes, I can. If you remind me, like in a week, I can probably whip that up for you if you give me a key binding sheet.
Actually, can't we just use our existing calculator? Oh, I was thinking I could just press the arrow keys on the calculator.
I was thinking I would quickly remap a bunch of keys for you, like AWS and stuff.
That would be cool. See, we got some wheel slip there.
And it would take me
fast.
not much headache to do.
So to give you guys some context, we have this program that we've written for our graphing calculators that lets us control a computer with a calculator, by which we mean the calculator basically acts as a USB keyboard. To the computer, it's indistinguishable from a USB keyboard, which is pretty sweet. For example, we could just use it as a keyboard with Train Simulator, and, for example, WASD controls our reverser and throttle and semicolon and single quotes for the brakes. But we could actually map the keys such that, up and down on the calculator are the throttle, other keys, control, brakes, etc. So that could be pretty cool. And by we, I mean Tim. Geek Boy, excuse me.
Yeah, something about not having source code readily available and being the only one who knows what you're looking at when you do find it makes
and it's
not hard.
It's not because it's not open source software either. He just lost the source code to it.
It's on Chematech somewhere.
All right.
I think.
So background. So things we need to remember to talk about. I need to remember to tell you, Geek Boy, more about the CPRR1.
Yes.
And hopefully you guys will pick up something along the way. This may be repetition for some of you, especially if you've watched some of my past videos. Also, we're picking up speed nicely now. I think it's time to take a look at our train and get some screenshots.
Aren't you stopping here, though?
Nope. We are an express that goes straight to London Brighton. I mean, we could stop here if we wanted. We could do a bit of a stop. I didn't realize there was Battersea Park Station.
I wasn't sure if we were an express or if we were just going for a ride.
What we have set up is a quick drive scenario, so we can... Actually, this is a great background for people who are just getting into Train Simulator. Welcome back once again, JMO444. I'm glad you didn't have to stay away long. An NS CSX Conrail CP consist. Yes, you can definitely do that. You would have to create a custom scenario for it to let you put it together. Oops, we're about to start speeding.
Kerm, you're going too fast.
We're super elevating. I was distracted by the super elevation. Look at that. Look at that beauty. That's so cool.
Once all the cars are skinned down, that'll be really, really cool.
That will be. Well, okay, so yes. That's why I need to tell you more about CPRR1.
Okay, time for a lesson, I guess.
All right. First, I need to finish what I was saying. We could stop at some stations if we wanted. We're in quick drive, which means we set a start and we set an end, and Train Simulator routes the tracks to get us from the start to the end, and we just have to do it. If we stop at stations along the way and open our doors, it's not going to complain at us. It'll just make it a little bit longer. Wow. Are we heading down a hill? We are. A 1 in 84 hill. So maybe we should stop at Clapham Junction and see if anybody on our runaway Amtrak train wants to have a break at Clapham Junction. If that's the case, then I'm going to put us into 25% braking. That should do the trick. I like to enter stations at 37 miles an hour for no particular reason, other than it's just what I've gotten used to, which means I've decelerated way too soon.
I was going to say, whatever makes you drive well.
It seems to consistently, no matter what I'm driving, get me to stop at the end of the platform. Regardless of... Because the things that seem to have worse brakes also seem to have longer platforms, so it gives me more place to stop, so everything works out. That was the answer on... There's loud people outside. I hope you'll excuse us if you can hear that from your end. Also, I'm playing... That's why everything sounds so cool. I'm playing with my speakers instead of headphones today. I hope that's not too much... echo for you guys, but it also means we have surround sound here. I'm hearing the clicking and clacking of our rear bogie. Oh, we need to be more enthusiastic with that braking. In the speakers behind us, which is pretty cool. 4 and 6 car train. We are a 6 car train. This seems like a good place to stop.
I don't think I would ever play this with headphones if I had surround sound hooked up.
I want to avoid too much echo. Oh, look at this stop. This is professionalism right here. Beautiful, beautiful. Open our doors. Pop our camera over here so we can take a look at our train. So you can see.
With their nose cone.
Yes. Yum 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 yum. Don't want them to fall in. Take another quick screenshot.
Is laptops compatible with a rail driver?
Yes. So the rail driver system, the rail driver for Tim and other people, excuse me, Geek Boy, who may not be familiar, is it's kind of the size of a keyboard. You put it on your desk. It's USB connected.
Okay.
And it has like a physical throttle, a physical brake, buttons for your horn, your lights,
a HOTAS for a HOTAS.
I'm not familiar with the HOTAS.
Hands-on throttle, and I forget what the S stands for, but...
Is that similar to like a steering wheel for driving games?
Yeah, so steering wheel for driving games, a set of joystick and pedals for a flight sim, etc.
Cool.
Are usually considered hands-on throttles.
Okay, so yes, it's a HOTAS.
Yeah.
Cool. Now I know I learned something new. I hope you guys did too.
Let me actually pull up the full definition of that
so
I'm not spewing too much garbage.
Sure thing. So the answer to your question is a laptop is most certainly compatible because it's basically just a USB device, and just like we were talking about, Tim was making the blow your horn motion at me.
Well, someone asked for the horn.
I missed that.
That's why I did it. Hands on throttle and stick.
Hands on throttle and stick. Oh, that makes much more sense
You're
in the...
slipping your wheels again.
Sorry, I was accelerating too fast. That makes much more sense in the flight simulator context.
Yes, it
That's
does.
super elevation right there. That's when we're tilting over into a curve.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I also need to tell you guys about my trip to Washington, D.C.
Karen,
on the
you
Acela.
put the train through the pole.
I know. American trains are wider than British trains. It actually sounds pretty similar from the outside it is to the inside, to me.
That's because we're not using headphones for once.
That's probably it. All right, there's so many things I'm in the middle of telling you guys. It's just great. I know, that was super loud. So, yes, Class A to 1. Good eye. It is a Class A to 1. So I guess you've missed my explanation of the CPRR1. So I can explain it to at least 2 people, hopefully more.
Yes.
All right, CPRR1, the short version is it's my private train car. I want my own private train car. I've been designing it since I was a small child. It started out as a pair of articulated 40-foot long sections, the front section of which was a cab, diesel generators, a living room, and the back part was a kitchen, a bathroom, and 2 bedrooms. The current version is about 80 to 90 feet long, depending on, probably more like 85 feet long. It is a unique private train car in that it is powered. It is, so from front to back, it is 10 feet of cab, 10 feet of 2 1,000 horsepower diesel engines connected to alternators, a 20-foot living room, 10 feet of kitchen plus bathroom, and then 30 feet of 2 15-foot long bedrooms. It is unique, obviously, in that it can drive itself. So not only can it move itself around when it's not attached to a train, being pulled by that train, but in a pinch, with that 2,000 horsepower, it actually has enough to pull a train on its own. Among other things, it's designed to have a streamlined, sloped nose, just like the Class A to 1. So for the sake of putting CPRR1 in Train Simulator, I just made it, based on the Class A to 1. Because I already had the shape that I wanted, I reskinned it with the colors that I wanted. I did not put the CPRR1 logo on it because I haven't figured out how to make it not get flipped on the other side yet. I also left the interior as well. So the things that I changed were the color scheme and the actual physical characteristics of it in terms of how powerful it is, how powerful the engine is. That's why we're rail slipping, by the way, because it's not massive enough to deal with the fact that we focused all of our traction in the front car instead of spread out throughout the train. Mm-hmm. I'd like it to be able to pull, for example, an Amtrak Vermonter, just in case, say we were, being pressed in service once I'm in a position where I can help Amtrak out with their trains, have CPR1 just pull an Amtrak train for a day. So, good catch. It is based on an 801 in Train Simulator. It is the correct shape, but it is meant to be a private train car / locomotive. EMU, I suppose. I suppose it's closer to an EMU because it's not specifically a locomotive. An NS Amtrak consist would certainly be fun. I've done a Union Pacific Amtrak consist in the past, and that's been super overkill because Union Pacific, I forget what the loco was exactly, but it could more than pull what we were putting behind it. Who's pinging my Skype? Somebody's pinging my Skype. Ding. AWS ramp. So that's the short version of CPR1. I could tell you much more about its evolution, about why I ended up with the CPR1, what the CPRR, the Central Park Railroad, is in the first place. This was another artifact of my long love of trains that started as a child. I think in the meantime, though, maybe we should switch to some of the other topics, like what we were up to today.
Yes, why not?
So, anything you want to mention about Maker Faire?
I think I'll let you start, and I will chime in accordingly.
Sounds good. For those of you just joining us, I have Geek Boy 1011 from Chematech and elsewhere here with me. So today we were here being in New York City at the World Maker Faire 2017. It is the 8th annual World Maker Faire, always in New York City, and the 6th one that we being Geek Boy, myself, and others from the Chematech community have been showing off Chematech stuff. Class 377, hello.
Horn!
By Chematech stuff, I mean mostly graphing calculator projects. So we met each other actually because we both learned programming, with graphing calculators way back in the day. And although we've moved on to other platforms since, that's a bit of a tight curve to go at 70 miles an hour, and we're speeding. I caught that I didn't catch it in time. I saw it just in time. I'm not going to stop at Streatham. So we learned programming with graphing calculators like the TI-83 Plus, TI-84 Plus calculators back in the day, and although we've moved on, we still like to teach other people programming by way of graphing calculators. So one of the things we do every year is go to this event, World Maker Faire, where all kinds of people show off what they're currently working on, be they gadgets and electronics, lots of 3D printing stuff, lots of hardware, laser cutting, wood cutting.
3D printers. So many 3D printers.
Such 3D printing. There's also other kind of making, like crafts and art. There was drone racing today.
One of the particularly memorable ones I see is there's a group that makes jewelry out of circuit boards. They actually epoxy circuit boards and make necklaces, earrings, and all sorts of cool jewelry like that.
Nice. I have a circuit board picture frame over there on my desk. That was a gift from one of my roommates back in the day.
I believe it or not, have as many times as I've been here, I've not seen that.
It usually hides between the pile of stuff that's on that end of my desk because nobody ever has enough space. You've never tried the CPRR1? If you've never tried the at Lille, gotcha.
Yeah,
the S44 AC. Yeah, that's a solid locomotive. Rolling along here on London to Brighton, and we have slowed down way too much. I should have put us into notch 3, not notch 0.
Inertia's a great thing. We're still moving.
We're still moving, but let's get that speed up again as we roll along London to Brighton. So, yep, people doing a lot of creative things. Lots of adults, families, kids, school groups, makers from all over the country, and I think, in fact, in some cases all over the world.
Yep.
Coming and showing off what they're doing. And we do that too. So, for those not too familiar with Chematech, we're not really centered in any particular place. We have members from all over because we did all find ourselves just through the general internet of, hey, I like programming with calculators. Oh, you like programming with calculators too? Let's work on projects together and let's teach other people and show off what we're working on.
And this year is an exceptional agreement of that. We have somebody down from Quebec. We have somebody from Washington, as in not the New York side of America, Washington. We have myself, which is about a state and a half away. Who else did we get this year? We got another guy who moved from California to be over here for a new job. That's a member. Who else do we run into this year?
Let's see. We have a long-standing... Actually, only one of the people who is there today has been there every single year we've done it since 2013. 2012. This is actually our 6th year doing it. It's 5 years since our first year. Let's stop at East Croydon.
So I've only done 4 years? I thought I'd done 5 already. Maybe that's why my counting and skews all messed up.
You've done 5 because this is our 6th year. You started the 2nd year, so this is your 5th year.
Okay, yeah.
It's been 4 years since you started.
I just can't math, guys. I'm a programmer, but I can't do math. This is why we have syntax checkers.
This is why we have calculators.
Yes.
Pittsburgh, nice. I went through Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago on my way back and forth between D.C. and Chicago on the Capital Limited.
Horn.
That was actually AWS. That was telling me...
No, there's a train and you didn't say hi.
Sorry, I was paying attention to not speeding because we have to be down for this 45-mile-an-hour zone coming up.
We don't have to. It's not
we
like
don't
we're getting
have to
graded on this one.
We're not, but I still like to be professional. Sometimes we need speed, but sometimes we just need professionalism.
I'm out of North Jersey, by the way, a little supreme, so not too far from you guys either.
Let's do some minimum braking here as we roll into East Croydon. As I said, I'm going to try to give us a bit of a quick stop at East Croydon so our passengers can get on and off. Actually, one of our members lives quite close to East Croydon, somebody we haven't seen in the community for a long time. I usually give him a shout out when I'm near East Croydon in Train Simulator. I think you know who I mean. I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't know.
Don't, believe it or not.
The assembler that we like to use.
Oh, that guy, okay.
Yes.
I wish he'd come around again and stop complaining about his insecurities of code. But that's a different problem.
I understand.
Banter you guys need to understand.
No, I completely I
meant that.
No. I mean, I don't totally agree with you on that. I definitely understand because there's a lot of things that I wrote that are just horrible code that even if they work, I don't want anybody else to look at that code or try to work with it because it's going to be a waste of their time.
agree and disagree, but then you have people like me who aren't capable of writing code from scratch themselves, and he might not have the greatest code, but it's more than enough base for me to go in and clean up and make something great out of. Which, if it wasn't open source to begin with, I don't get that opportunity.
I hear you.
So, like, I agree with you, but I disagree with you pretty much at the same time.
We stopped here. I opened the doors. They closed again very quickly. So let's get going again. I hear you. I understand. If there was... It's tough, because I definitely see his perspective, and I would not want to pressure him to release it.
The bugs withstanding in it, though, it would be beneficial to the community more than saying just use Spasm, this is garbage.
I think a better option overall would be to start over with creating this assembler.
But he did that, and he never finished it.
He's a busy guy. I understand
I don't
that.
disagree with that.
But anyway, a horn blow to him.
I don't know what NS and CXX trains are.
NS is Norfolk Southern, and CSX is... Actually, funnily enough, CSX doesn't stand for anything. CSX is just CSX. I was reading about that recently. They had C and S, and they stuck an X in it because they thought it sounded cool.
Best marketing teams.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
It's time for speed.
Speed! Nope. It's time for
time
wheel
for
slip.
Wheel slip.
This is the problem with having 2,000 horsepower on top of however much not enough weight our train has. Let's see if we can get going now. There we go. It looks like we have to pass about 22 miles an hour on a flat gradient before we can go into notch 4. That's something I'm going to have to learn about CPRR1. Or make it heavier, and I don't think I want to do that. Power! Speed! Where were we? Yes.
Wheels.
So, we blew our horn for our friend who lives around here. If he ends up watching this, I 100% support you, and I know Tim does too. And
I completely do. I
understand his frustrations.
Yeah, it's my preferred assembler of choice, and I want to make it better.
Yes.
Because the bugs make me cry.
We can work around them. It's fine.
Barely. Have you seen some of the things I've had to do to work around them?
You use really corner case features that nobody else uses, though.
But they're documented. I want to use them because they're there. Like, it saddens me that it's documented and not available.
Fair enough. Anyway,
yes,
Maker Faire.
Let's go back.
So we were showing off lots of calculator things. We had people from Long Island, from... Oh, that's what we were talking about. We listed Washington State, Quebec,
yes.
Everywhere else. The one who is from Long Island has been with us for all 6 years that we've been going to the fair. So for 6 years, we started from very rudimentary displays where we had a couple of calculators on some pieces of foam core. I went with my girlfriend at the time and one other person who showed up, who was one of our members who had been around the community for about 3 years at that point. He was still in high school at the time. You know, we had a pretty reasonable time. It was a good experience. We were glad we went. Pretty quiet, and then as the years went on, we kind of accumulated more and more members who came and either came to help out with the tables, helped make displays. I have to give Geek Boy huge props for making many displays, making both the calculator projects that we have, as well as contributing to the fact that we have these really beautiful woodworked cases to put our calculators in now.
General rule of thumb, if you're going to do something and you have the sanity, just overdo it, because then you don't have to think about it twice.
And then we can keep using these beautiful displays for all of our future years.
This is year 3 already, right?
This is year 3.
Minor damages to them over the years.
The worst thing that's happened is we misplaced a piece, so we have part of it held together with duct tape.
I will come up with a fix for that if I can't find the piece next year, by the way. Like, I can just grab a dowel and put 2 screws in it and be done, and put it on the bottom.
Fair enough.
Like, it won't be perfect, but it will work just fine. Clearly, you should have opened your nose cone for that.
I should have. I can. I am more than capable of subscribing to your channel. Oops, that's not the view I want.
That's a great view. We have 4 tracks moving along. It's like we're playing Lego Loco again. Have you ever played Lego Loco?
I've never played it, but I've seen screenshots of it.
Okay. At least you know the game I'm talking about.
I do know the game.
That is better than...
Are you guys familiar with Lego Loco? Should I ask Tim to explain that before we talk more about Maker Faire?
I vote not. I think they can go look it up on YouTube.
Fair enough. Somebody was showing me, actually one of our members, the one from Washington, was showing me that there's a train in one of the Zelda games, which Tim says is one of the worst Zelda games. I wouldn't know.
It's reviewably one of the less preferred Zelda games out there. It's not bad casually, like it is
Less
a fun
preferred.
play, but it is one of the weakest entries in the Zelda franchise.
Fair enough.
Again, doesn't mean it's a bad game. It just means if you're gonna play one Zelda game, don't make it that one.
And which one is it?
Spirit Tracks.
Spirit Tracks. Ah, that makes sense. All right, so more Maker Faire things. So I think something like 20,000 people come over the course of the weekend.
That feels about like the correct number.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Maybe a little more, I want to say, but
Yep.
not much.
So we're happy to show them programming, especially with graphing calculators, because it's a great way to learn programming. If you haven't programmed on your graphing calculator, you should, and you should stop by Chematech and find out how. Class 377, hello. Egregious horn blowing. Only problem is I don't have a bell, and I'm going to need a bell if I'm going to drive this in the U.S. I'm also going to need ditch lights. Ditch lights that I can flash at grade crossings.
What
which this
are
is not.
ditch lights?
So ditch lights are on the lower side of the train. I'm pointing with my mouse so you guys can't see it.
Yes.
Below the headlights, they became mandatory, I think in the 1990s. I remember reading the relevant FRA regulations. They were a reaction to try to reduce the number of accidents at grade crossings. So among other things, you have to have them on if you are traveling at night, I believe. And then if you're near a grade crossing, they need to be flashing, alternating left, right, left, right, left, right, as an extra visual notification that you're on your way to the grade
Clearly, you
crossing.
should put them inside your nose cone and have to open your nose cone every time you need to use ditch lights. That would be fun.
From a
Practical point of view,
yes.
that's pointless.
Right.
But from an
That
entertainment
sounds
point of view, that'd be
extremely
fun.
entertaining, if not at all practical.
I was wondering, because I've been playing with the display we've been working on for the fair, and I've been reading because I'm setting the values and I'm like, what are these things? I've not heard of these things before.
Right.
So why don't you continue going on with this Maker Faire thing?
Yes.
And eventually I'm assuming we're going to start talking about our displays because it's
We
strictly
will.
applicable for once.
We will. I also want to take a brief detour to tell these guys about my trip on the Acela to Washington, D.C. because I already gave them the full rundown of my long trip to Chicago. Well, Milwaukee, actually. If you missed that, you should go back and look at my previous videos. I think that was in my latest one. I think that was Train Simulator World episodes 1 and 2.
Ow.
Yes, we just went through a signal. Let's
That
not go
hurt.
through the signal. There we
Oh,
go.
good, we missed that one.
We
That
went
could've
by it.
hurt.
That
I
definitely
almost
would hurt.
walked into a bike rack today. That was going to not be
Don't do
fun.
that. I almost walked into a pole yesterday talking to someone. I wasn't looking where I was going.
I was talking to the guy who was here earlier, and I was literally like just almost square into the ones walking out of Queens.
That's not what you want. That's definitely not what you want. Where was
Tell me
I?
about the trip that you went on, because I have not heard about your trip on the train either. You told
Yes.
these guys, but I don't.
Oh,
watch
okay.
your feed,
So
I haven't heard.
I had to go to
You
Washington,
have
D.C.
to horn in the tunnel, though.
Do I?
I'm
Is it
afraid.
going to echo? Yes, it is.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I had to go to Washington, D.C. for a conference. And because, well, I say I'm not footing the bill. That's a very loose interpretation. Technically, my company is footing the bill, but I am my company.
Technically, his capital is footing the bill.
I suppose. So
That would be the correct way to phrase
that's
that.
fair. So I did something I hadn't done before, which was take the Acela to Washington, D.C., which was a great experience. I have won Amtrak's Accelerate contest by talking about the great things about Acela, and we're speeding. One of the things it can do is go fast. Speed. So I have many model cells. If you have watched many of my videos in previous videos, quite a couple of episodes ago, excuse me, my words are running away from me, I talked about how I have a complete Acela N-scale train. In fact, one of the trains we were showing off today was an N-scale HHP 8 locomotive, which was used on the Northeast Corridor and in Acela colors. But this was my first time. Sorry, I didn't honk my horn at that train. I know, I'm sorry. So this is my first time actually riding an Acela myself. It was a great experience. If you have a chance to do so, I highly recommend it. It is fast, it is smooth, it is comfy, lots and lots of legroom, as I've come to expect from Amtrak. Literally the least legroom I've ever had on Amtrak is more than the most room I've ever had on an airplane. I think I've read that Amtrak's coach class does in fact have more legroom than any airplane's first class, which is pretty impressive.
I believe that.
And given that I am a long-limbed individual, I am a long boy. to quote our member Kaz42, our meme lord.
Trains are love. Yes, they are, little moonbeam. Yes, they are.
Little Moonbeam, good to see you.
Welcome to the stream, Little Moon.
I have Geek Boy 1011 here tonight with me. Special guest appearance.
I will play Minecraft with you guys again eventually, I promise.
Good, you better.
I have to get over my rage quit still from like 3 years ago. I lost my horse, I was so sad.
Oh no.
From something stupid, he jumped on a minecart and suffocated himself.
Oh no.
Like, I couldn't even do anything. Like, I got himself and gone. I'm like, no.
Come back.
I'm like, no.
There's actually 2 Minecraft servers under discussion.
Yes.
Geek Boy has been involved with one run by a community member called RC Freak Zero. What's the URL of that server?
RCFreakZero.com.
RCFreakZero.com is the Minecraft server. Chematech also has its own Minecraft server. We have a slightly different community. Oh, we just went into an 80 zone that I didn't account for.
Oh,
Whoops.
well.
Well, we're not derailing, so I'm not going to worry too much about it because we're about to go back into this 90. And we also have our own, as I just said, Minecraft server on Chematech with a slightly different audience. We aim a little bit more, I think, at some of the machines and complex builds. Although I'm not sure that RC Freak server doesn't aim at those.
So when I was last playing Minecraft, which mind you was quite a while ago, your server was more PvP, more towny based, a little more structured.
Yeah.
RC's is, I call it community survival. We're really just as vanilla as you can get. The mods that we employ are for. That was a little shaky.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Are more for administrative purposes and bug fixes than anything else. And that's it. It's vanilla after that.
Okay.
So we do big builds, small builds. We let people go off on their own. We let people not go off on their own. People can literally do whatever they want as long as they're being nice to every other member.
That's good.
Don't
That's
go
a good
griefing.
rule.
Don't go stealing people's stuff. You know, you want to build a town over here, claim the plot of land as your own. We'll mark it on the map and have fun.
Fair enough.
You know, there's no real economy other than what people say is what's worth my time for your material. We let people set their own prices based off effort put in, and we call it a day.
Nice. So our server, we don't really do PvP anymore. We still have Towny. Ooh, got a little bit of lag there.
That's the worst lag we've had, but that is not the...
What's going on here? Got a little bit of interesting stuff here.
Uh-oh.
I'm just gonna tab out. Oh, so Train Simulator seems to have crashed on us.
Oh no.
Hopefully you guys can still hear us.
See you, JMO. Sad to see you go again.
Said see you go. You picked a good time. That was a train selfie. Yes. See you soon. I'm going to relaunch Train Simulator, and we're going to pick up where we left off. So, Minecraft server. Yes, we don't do PvP anymore. We have towns. We focus more on exploration and cooperative building. Pretty much the same rules. Don't grief. Don't break things. Don't curse at other people, and be nice.
Yeah.
Everyone gets along. Oh, you know what that means? That means I'm going to have to reset my cache again because Train Simulator makes my life challenging. Hopefully Train Sim World is just going to be a little bit better. Glad to hear it, Little Moonbeam. Anyway, our Minecraft server is mc.chematech.net or just chematech.net. Either one will work. Feel free to stop by either server. They're both great servers. I can vouch for both of them, having played on them both myself. I'm a little bit biased because I'm an administrator of the Chematech one and an administrator of Chematech.
I was going to say, and I'm biased because I'm administrator of the other one, but
right.
you know.
Right. You're also an administrator on Chematech, though.
No, I'm not.
I mean, close enough. Whatever. Fix your password and I'll make you an administrator.
Let me do it right now.
Do it right now. Fix your password and I'll make you an administrator.
He's been telling me he's going to give me actual admin access for months, and then he doesn't tell me what the requirement.
Well, I'm not going to give you admin panel access if you have a weak password.
I don't have a weak password. They're just not strong enough.
That means.
Honestly, I don't even know what my current password is off the top of my head.
You should figure that out.
Yeah, I remembered it.
Or ask your password manager.
Yeah, I did ask my password manager. It told me.
So, collapsing our conversation stack, I feel like we have this growing stack of conversations.
So do.
All the way back to, well, I think one of the things that we put on the stack was our...
I will do it tomorrow because I keep passing on stuff on this machine correctly.
My Acela trip. So, very fun. I sat at their nice little tables. I looked out the window. Going down, I saw many trains, many Acelas, good vistas, power, Wi-Fi, snacks, all good stuff. Coming back up, it was unfortunately just sunset into darkness, so I didn't get as good views coming back. But again, Very, very nice.
I would feel like cruising along that fast in the dark, though, has to be quite nice.
It's extremely nice.
I feel like that would be just very calming and peaceful.
That's exactly it. It's exactly that. I find it so calming. I can do my work, but it's just speeding through the night. It was especially nice when I was coming back from Chicago. The last leg of my trip was D.C. to New York.
Okay.
And I was in my own little private roomette sleeper compartment. I had all the lights off, just looking out at the dark scenery. I could see the sky, no glare or anything because I could actually turn all the lights off, chatting on the phone. It was really pleasant. I can't overstate, I know I said this in one of my previous videos, what a frankly life-changing experience it was. That still looks good. To ride a long-distance sleeper car train on Amtrak and just enjoy that. I highly recommend that. What I'm going to do is we were almost at Gatwick Airport, so I'm going to start us at Gatwick and bring us all the way to Brighton fast. And that should more or less pick us up where we were.
Going back to Eastport would be a little far. That's like almost 8 minutes back. So.
And I'm going to put us at 5 o'clock now because I think we were driving for some time.
Yes, we were. We were driving for about 25 minutes already.
Okay.
No, only like 20 because we crashed once. So that finished up your train?
Yeah.
So we're going back to Maker Faire.
Yes. So take the Acela if you can. Very pleasant experience. Oh, I did want to add one more thing. Just because it has the power cars at both ends. Also, let's pick up some passengers here. The acceleration and the deceleration are very, very good. Like, you are pushed back into your seat when that train gets going.
Oh, after seeing the Acela leave Secaucus the other day, I can full on believe that because it's like, yeah, we're here. Okay, bye.
We're gone.
Wait, where'd it go?
Put ourselves into forward, by the way, again. Cancel our AWS. Reduce our brakes a little bit. Wait for our doors to close. Also, you can hear the airplanes taking off. Oops, that's not what I wanted to press.
But maps.
Airplane. Airplane.
Whee!
Oh no, I lost it. There it is. Airplane. Sorry, let's go back to our train.
Good thing they give you a hotkey for that. That would be atrocious trying to fly back to your train.
Yes, it would. Alright, now we need to put ourselves, let's start with notch 2. Blow our horn. So we're just leaving Gatwick Airport. We have another 24 miles to Brighton. When we crashed out, we had 27 miles left, so we missed about 3 miles of our journey. Let's assume that went by, while we were
That was about the right amount of time to fly that one, travel that far.
Fly. Flying train. We can put ourselves into notch 3 until we get to 20 miles an hour. So collapsing back all the way down the stack to Maker Faire. I don't know what else I want to say about Maker Faire. What do you want to say about it?
Did we want to explain what some of our displays were and like what we're entertaining people with? Or...
Yeah, I think you give that a try if you don't mind.
Not at all. So, as he said earlier, we have been there for 5 years now, and we started off with some very minimal displays. We had some calculators out to show. We had some small displays with games. What else did you guys have the first year, seeing as I was not there?
I had the Ultimate Calculator number 2. That was the blue with the silver stripes.
Yes, I remember that one.
That's the calculator that has a mouse connected to a PS2 port, touchscreen on the touch like a laptop touchpad on the back. I think that was most of it. Actually, I had the games one. I think I had a minimal. Did I have a minimal CalcNet demo? I might have had a minimal demo of CalcNet.
Was
That's
CalcNet done by then?
It might not have been.
I don't think it was.
I think it was only the second year that we first had CalcNet.
I am inclined to agree with you because I remember working on a CalcNet display for the fair.
Okay, then I don't think I had one.
Was it the first year I did the guest book or the second year I did the guest book?
That was the second book. The second year, excuse me.
Okay, yeah, so you definitely didn't have CalcNet for the first year. Okay. Because I pretty much jumped on that as soon as I knew it was functional enough to try so.
Got it. CalcNet, for context, is our graphing calculator networking protocol that lets you not only connect calculators to each other, but connect them to the internet. That's loud and annoying. I'm going to stay in here for now.
That's trains when you're not inside them.
Well, this is some kind of glitch with it thinking that I'm releasing the air brakes all the time, I suspect. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Is it fading? Should be fading. There we go.
Yeah. So, originally we started off with pretty much those two things for our displays. Over the last 4 years, we've been trying to add a new display every year or some decent change to our setup, and we've now ended at having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 displays.
Nice. Yeah. By the way, I'm going to interrupt you a second. Say, Hazmat Zero, you are most welcome for the TI-84 Plus CE videos. If you have any suggestions on future TI-84 Plus CE videos you'd like to see, do feel free to let us know either in the chat right here, and I'll try to make a mental note of that in the comments on this video. Although I'd prefer that you put that in the comments on one of my 84 Plus CE videos if you do have any suggestions, or actually on Chemetech as well. Feel free to stop by Chemetech, CEMETECH.net. We're always happy to field any questions, comments, suggestions you have there as well.
I'm like 90% certain you could have just said that was in your bio field on Chemetech, by the way. I mean, on YouTube, by the way.
I could have. But why make them go and look it up when I can just spell it out?
Anyway,
so 6 displays.
We have 6 displays this year.
At
Some
Maker
of the
Faire.
displays are multi-displays. We have a display showing connectivity, so we have a calculator hooked up to a GPS. We have a calculator hooked up to an Arduino. We have a calculator hooked up to a floppy drive to play some one-channel audio. Sorry, we have 7 displays, by the way. We have a calculator hooked up to some speakers to play 2 or 4-channel audio. We have a networking display using 4 calculators and that CalcNet protocol once again to bounce a bunch of balls across the screen. We have a calculator emulating the USB keyboard like we mentioned earlier, hooked up to the emulator Kerm wrote, so we can have it on a nice big screen with the inputs off the calculator so people can try to write a quick little program. Ooh, train.
Also, I just noticed my headlights are not on. Let's fix that.
Yes, fix your headlights. Ow, my eyes.
Nice.
Okay. Now that I'm blind again.
Yes. Blind, see? It says right there on the screen.
Yeah. Oh, God. What displays are left?
Sorry,
Okay.
I interrupted
We
you.
have a board on the table with 4 calculators hooked up to it that we tend to rotate partially throughout the day and partially throughout the years that have various games, demos, and other applications loaded on it for little kids to come bang into the table repeatedly.
That's a particularly big hit with the little kids. We actually basically had a fist fight between 2 young brothers who both wanted to play with one of the calculators today.
They both insisted that they wanted to play Doom or Tetris at the same time, and one was not having that, one was playing the other, and he was getting mad.
Yep.
Because the other one was doing it. It had nothing to do with what the actual thing was. It's my big brother's doing this, and I want to do it instead.
I want to do it.
And then the last display, which is the new one for the year, is
Trains
related. As he mentioned earlier, we implemented a calculator as a DCC throttle, which is direct cab control. It's a communication standard to talk over the rails, supported by the NMRA, the National Model Railroad Association.
Back in the day, you used to just vary the amount of DC voltage going on the rails to make the train go faster or slower. So little voltage meant slow motor turning. Lots of voltage meant fast motor turning equals fast train.
And sketchy reverse loops to make the trains go backwards by pumping voltage backwards on the tracks by flipping a switch. It was great.
Yep. Now,
and a good way to fry things.
Now life is a little bit more digital.
Yes.
So you send a digital signal over the rails that it's kind of a networking protocol, really.
I would not consider it a networking protocol because I wouldn't consider the talkback.
I guess they don't talk back. Okay.
I would consider it one way with a tack on for reverse. It's essentially a one way to pipe data down the track. The train picks it up and acts upon it if it's supposed to.
So it means that you can have multiple locomotives running at different speeds, even in different directions. Ooh, that was shaky.
I was gonna say, what did you hit?
I don't know. A gap in the tracks.
Maybe it was a squirrel.
Maybe it was a squirrel.
I'm going with a squirrel.
Yep. Playing different sounds with different lights on the same track because you can send messages to specific trains and they'll all just respond to the ones that are addressed to them.
And the joy of that is if you are a big fan of making actual layouts in railroad systems, you can fully automate a layout. So you can have an entire train line being fully automated and running trains back and forth and stuff like that. Those trees look like a giant smoke fire outside that tunnel at first.
I'm glad they're not.
Me too. I was wondering, what are we driving into? Is that like a nest of bats or something? That'd be scary.
That would be scary.
So we implemented that on an actual calculator, and that is our new display for the year. And it actually has been a really big hit so far. The amount of people that have come that enjoy model trains and actually know what's going on was higher than 0, which is quite impressive.
Significantly higher. We even had one member who talked about programming. One visitor who said he learned programming on a calculator back in the day. He has gotten away from that. I think he said he wrote programs, but he never published them online.
That is correct.
And then he also is now a model railroad enthusiast and actually implemented the same protocol DCC for the PIC microcontroller.
Yes, he used a PIC 6 something,
Okay.
I believe.
16 something maybe?
I don't remember.
Anyway,
I don't remember.
it doesn't matter. One of the little tiny PIC microcontrollers. And he promised to stop by Chemetech and post his story both with calculators and with trains, so I hope he does so.
I am looking forward to it too because he looked very interested in using the DC through throttle too, just for kicks and giggles.
Yep, I'd be interested in learning from his DCC code and vice versa too.
He, based off what I had communicated with him shortly, is he wrote it the way I was originally going to write mine, where
Until I pushed you to use interrupts.
Yeah, well, we have
for the UI.
Well, we have the timers, which are not standard in my world.
That's fair. Implementation details that makes our implementation work nicely.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
Hopefully that's not what the problem is right now.
Yeah, we're running into... Oh, we're speeding. Let's not do that. We're running into a few little... Speed! I need to get a clip of Jeremy Clarkson actually shouting speed that I can use when I say that. I feel like there might be some intellectual property issues around that. I don't know. Is that a trademark?
It's fair use. It's fair use. It's
Sorry, I
oh
need
god,
to do
that
this.
decoupled camera screws me up every time.
Sorry.
Nah, it's nothing with you. It's just me expecting the camera to be also
Screenshots.
Like, whoa.
Screenshots. Screenshots. Have I mentioned that I love taking screenshots of trains doing cool things? I don't know if you guys knew this about me. Ooh, look at the shadow of that viaduct. That's cool. We'll just ignore the fact that the shadow doesn't continue further back. There we go. All right, now we can go again. Sorry, guys. I had to take photos. Rail fanning.
What were you saying?
Just that we were trying to catch a couple of glitches there.
What's up, Michael?
Hey, Michael. Good to see you. We saw two of our compatriots at Maker Faire today. We were just telling everybody about Maker Faire. I actually have
Hi.
Geekboy1011 here with me tonight as well, here in person for Maker Faire. So, two presenters, 2 times more awesome. 2 times as awesome. One additional
It almost
unit
becomes
of
train
awesome.
simulator and talk show.
Yeah, basically. I think it is. I mean, we're covering everything here. We're talking about we're talking about politics of source code release when it's poor quality source code, and we're talking about Maker Faire, and we're talking about model trains, and also my private
First
train car.
HCWP you were over, I said we're having a Kerm and Tim talk show too. And people were like, "What?" And they got all excited too. It was
That would be cool.
fun. I've been wanting to do it. Just have like set a bunch of topics, try to get a bunch of people on Hangouts one day, and just like or stream it and get a bunch of people on. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
That would be fun. To give even more context, because a lot of these are things you either know if you're a Chemetech member or if you're just us.
Yes.
We have this weekly video chat on Chemetech. It's been running for, I think, longer than we've been going for Maker Faire. I think it's like 8 years now.
Really?
I really think it's been that long. Oh, I probably should have stopped at Hayward's Heath. Oh well.
Oh well. I guess they didn't want to get off.
Nope.
If you guys want to get off, jump. There's grass on the side.
Jump and roll.
We're only going 87 miles an hour. If you make sure you hit on your shoulder first and go to your back, you'll roll a couple times. You'll be able to stand right up.
So what was I
Watch
saying?
the rocks.
Yes, HCWP. So every Wednesday night we have this video conference on Google Hangouts where people come and, in theory, show what calculator projects they're working on, ask questions, get live help. We used to have it even more organized where people like spoke for specific sessions, like we had half-hour scheduled lectures where people would talk about specific programming techniques and so on, and then some open questions time. These days, it's basically people just sort of hanging out, working on all their projects socially, occasionally playing games, although we discourage that somewhat after
We
it got
have
a little...
HRWO for that.
Yes, we do. Have rockets will orbit. HCWP is have calc will program. If I didn't already say that. Collapsing the stack back down again, Michael. Pieman and Mr. Womp Womp and Botboy, 3 Chemetech members, all showed up.
And Squidget X.
Oh, and Squidget X all showed up at Maker Faire today. Pieman and Mr. Womp Womp were extremely helpful in joining Kaz42, Geekboy, myself. Am I forgetting anyone?
No.
Nope. In showing everyone graphing calculator programming.
To the point where they've been invited back down next year with free board if they so choose to come.
Yes, indeed.
Well, if you didn't.
Free room.
Well, free board, technically.
Board is the foods.
I'd feed him too if he's at my house for dinner.
Fair
You know
enough.
that.
Yeah, that's true. I know. You're good that way. Ooh, a whistle board. Let's blow our whistle.
Are you supposed to blow your whistle there?
Yes.
Or do you get ticketed if you don't?
Yes. Both of those.
Because I'm not strictly sure who you are, Michael, can I ask what your handle is?
Michael2_3B.
Okay.
Do you know him?
I know the name from following chat. I don't know him, like, actually.
Fair enough. Just for funsies, I'm going to have us stop at Burgess Hill, not for any particular reason. We're just making up our own service here. I'm going to see if I can actually properly calculate the stop that I need in half a mile for Burgess Hill. And if we overshoot, then we'll just start accelerating again.
Just slow down a little. Say, hey guys, we just needed to, like, clean our wheels real quick. Okay, we're gone.
You should come to Maker Faire. You should definitely come. It's a lot of fun. I hope we've gotten that across in all we're describing about it. It's fun as presenters, as people showing off cool projects, but there's just such a variety of things that people are showing.
Yep. Enjoy your evening, Hazmat. Good luck on the calculus homework.
Yes, good luck indeed. And thank you again for the kind words. It's good to know that people are finding our videos useful. Let us know if there's anything else we can help you with. We are on the London to Brighton line today. I'm driving the CPRR1 locomotive / private train car / EMU, pulling an Amtrak Northeast Regional consist that I will show you as soon as we stop at the station. Oh, I just blew past the 8-car stop, and we're pulling up to the 12-car stop.
Oh well.
Oh well.
And for a little bit there, if you don't know what the CPRR is, it is a custom train car / locomotive / engine designed by Kerm over here for his own sanity points from when he was a kid.
Yep.
It is quite cool. He
Thank
has
you.
a lot of neat ideas, and Train Simulator hates it. And it's quite entertaining.
You are most kind, sir. If you recognize it as a Class 801 shape, you're correct. I'm using that as a proxy for the kind of curved, streamlined nose cone that I want on my real private train car. Looks like people have gotten off. Nope, our doors are still open.
I thought my description was good.
I liked your description. I thought it was very accurate. I'm just going to quick scan across here so we can show people our train. We have a coach class, also our doors are closing, another coach class, a third coach class, a fourth coach class, and at the very back we have our cafe car and business class car. We can just duck in. Hello, business class passengers. Hello, cafe. We're missing a couple of tables here. Whoa, this is a weird cafe car. This does not seem correct. This is not what a cafe car looks like.
It seems to me your model's all messed up like expected.
I suspect, yeah.
Weird, oh well, we
weird
can't see
train
inside the car,
things.
so it's okay. We look through the window, that's not broken.
I'm going to put us standing on this little thing here while we take off. Release our brakes, wait for our pressure to release, and then go into notch 2. And of course, we must sound our horn.
Yes.
Thank you, Tom. Yep, London to Brighton. We're doing a quick drive, so we were just doing a fast service straight from London to Brighton. We crashed along the way. We've also made a couple of stops. Just for funsies, we stopped at, where did we stop? We stopped at East Croydon. We stopped at Clapham Junction. We stopped at Gatwick Airport by necessity, because that's where we started again after Train Simulator crashed.
Yeah, our train kind of stalled and ended up on a platform, and we were grateful about it, so we continued off from there.
Something like that. Yep. That's a good way to put it. We'll just pretend the real world kept going while Train Simulator crashed.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, when I was riding the Acela, I forgot to mention, when I was going back, the train I was riding on had Power Cars 2003 and 2004, which were ones I had models of, so I was able to hold up my little tiny version of the same one that was right there.
Actually.
I'm sure you did. I put it on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
He has nothing but trouble reskinning his trains. Train Simu likes to crash and make the world explode. And
yes, so
do all sorts of funsies.
I find I have to, after I make a change or after Train Simulator crashes, clear cache, go into the Quick Drive consist editor in order to make the train not have crazy polygons that mess things up, and then then I can play again. If the trouble that you're having is more along the lines of actually editing the skins, like pulling out the textures, editing, and putting them back in, I've been wanting to write a tutorial, either a tutorial page, video, or both, about how to do that, because it's a little bit fidgety. I personally use GIMP for it, which means that I have to take a couple of extra steps in order to pull those textures out of the original models to edit them. Let me know if you think that would be useful, either you guys on the stream right now, or you guys watching, if you're watching this later and getting the comments. So let me know. If that's something people want, I would be more than happy to put that together. And we can go notch 4 without wheel slipping.
So we've almost pared down our stack completely. What
do we have left? I think we've actually reduced our stack to 0. Woo! what are we going to talk about for our last 8.25 miles?
My last 9 minutes of train ride, guys.
You can listen to our wheels click and clack.
It's such a peaceful sound.
It is. They've also done a good job of making it sound like the real Fleet wheels. If I can actually get the camera to stay here. There we go. Whee!
Do you create your own scenarios for people?
I have created scenarios. I've created my own scenarios for me. I haven't created my own scenarios for other people before. Are we going to run to this signal? I think we're going to run to the signal. Ow.
Right between the eyes.
So I don't create. I mean, if somebody wants a scenario and it's something that interests me, I might be persuaded. I should add the caveat that I have less than no time to do things.
He has a negative time.
I have so much negative time.
Like, I'm here because I'm pretending to be a clone, negative time.
Yes. Geek Boy makes Maker Faire possible these days for us. At one point, I could just pour time into it and make it work. No longer. Even then, it would have been tough without you, I think.
Yeah. I don't want to...
No, it's true.
Toot my own horn. But... and I groaned before I said that, by the way.
Because you knew what I was going to do.
No, it wasn't even that. I'm like, frick, I'm about to make another train pun. But the amount of effort that I've been pumping into this for the last 5 years is...
substantial.
Yeah, astronomical even by my definition, and I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to taking on workloads that I shouldn't.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. I hope you will have a chance to look back at some of my previous videos. If you have any suggestions on what you'd like me to film, I am more than happy to take them. I have fun with trains. I was just telling Tim that I've gotten so used to streaming Train Simulator. It's kind of a fun way to do it that I don't think I've even basically played Train Simulator.
I would like to cut you off there and actually take that a step back and just bring up the conversation we had the other day about it, so they can actually get some other feedback on that.
Sure.
I'd love to hear more people's opinion on that personally.
Okay.
We were talking the other day, I think it was on the subway ride to his office the other day.
Yep.
We were talking about a video game I was playing at one point, and he asked me if I continued it anymore, and I said, no. Frankly, I almost find no motivation to play games when I either don't have someone around or an audience to enjoy it with.
Right.
And he brought up mentioning that he feels, for him, Train Simulator's pretty much gotten the only way. If you guys weren't here watching and enjoying the stream, he would have minimal motivation to actually play amongst his very busy schedule.
Yep, for sure.
And for me, it was nice to hear somebody else who has that same problem. And I'm wondering what your guys' opinions on that is, because for me, it's really odd. Like, I have all these fun games, I know they're fun to play, but you pick up the controller and you go, why am I doing this?
It's easy. It's easy to feel the pressure, like I'm just wasting my time if I'm just doing it for myself. I know that's a terrible attitude because relaxation is important to mental health too, but when there's other people watching, it's like I am having fun and I'm doing it with other people. It's like socializing in a way, you know?
Yeah, I have the problems. Like, for me, I find debugging code relaxing. I'm one of those people. Like I said, I'm a glutton for punishment.
I'm with you there.
I will go debug somebody's code for fun.
I won't debug other people's code. I'll debug my own code for fun.
It depends on whose it is.
Okay.
When I say other people's, I mean, like, IAMB and various Chematech members.
Right.
Yours, if you so request,
I do sometimes take advantage of that.
And I have no problems with it. As
Thank you.
Clearly,
you have.
Demonstrated. Yeah.
Something, one of those words, it's late.
But I find that I can get just as much relaxation without feeling like I'm doing something repetitive, doing something more worky is the word I'm going to use
That's
here.
Good.
Than
I like it.
Playing a game of some kind. But as soon as you add an audience and all of a sudden that's flipped back over on its head almost.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like it.
And yeah, like I said, I kind of cut him off just I'm really curious to see what other people think about that, and if there's only a handful of us in the world that way, if there's a bunch of people in the world that way like that.
I bet there are. I don't know.
I'm sure there are. It's just it feels really odd because I'm a twin. I have a twin brother. We're not identical, but we're 20 some odd minutes apart. But he has.
You're not identical to the understatement.
You'd be surprised at how many times I tell people I'm a twin. Oh, are you identical? No.
Okay.
That's the second question reliably. But he has the exact opposite problem. He hates it when people are watching him play video games. He'd rather be on his own playing video games and not dealing with people.
Sometimes I want it as a release, but I'm always happy to have somebody there, I think.
Well, but like, so he's an RPG player. You don't
Okay.
play a lot of RPGs.
I don't play a lot of RPGs.
Like this is the closest RPG you play.
Yeah, that's fair. This is an RPG, I guess, in the strictest
Technically
definition.
it is. It's a role-playing game.
I am playing the role of an engineer right now.
But he plays Japanese-style RPGs as a single individual and gets complete joy out of just playing it on his own, almost like reading a book does for some people. I get not bored out of my mind if the story is not 100% engrossing, but if his pacing is not perfect, I lose interest within 2 hours. Reliable. But as soon as you had somebody watching it over my shoulder, I don't care that I have to grind and fight this guy 60 times to finish the job. I got someone sitting next to me or across the screen to go with, and it just changes the whole attitude of playing.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, like, my experience is, no, this is weird. People like to play games on their own in their own little hermity world in their own closed basement.
Right.
And that is not me.
Gotta honk at that class 377. That's an interesting debate. I'd be curious to see what people think about that. I suspect most people have headed to bed, but I hope if you're watching this in the replay and you have some thoughts on that, if you do streaming or you just have thoughts on what you enjoy about kind of the general atmosphere of playing games by yourself versus playing games with others, I'd be curious. I think we'd both be curious to know what your thoughts are there. And Carlisle route is a good idea. I don't actually have it, unfortunately. But I will see if I can get it. One thing I noticed is that the North Jersey coastline / Morristown route is on sale. And for the recent past, I had been taking the Morristown line to visit Geek Boy right here, actually.
And you still will be, actually. Where I am now, you can either take the Morris-Essex line or the Montclair Booten line and actually end up in the same place.
Cool. Because they intersect there.
Yes. Well, not exactly there. They intersect a couple stops before, but...
okay, and then they stay together there.
Well, so... My hands aren't going to do the trailer, but you go this way for the Montclair Booten and you come this way for the Morris-Essex. They intersect, and then they kind of don't cross. They tail out this way.
Okay.
And
I'm sure this must be great for our watchers, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure it is too, but they can figure it out when they look at the line. But I'm a couple stops down after that tail out.
Got it. Well, then, so that's the appeal for me, obviously, driving the same train that I take to see you. I'm getting AWS alerts for these speed limits, by the way, but that's nothing to be concerned about. I have been managing it as we talk. So that's attractive to me. It's on sale from $40 to $20, which is still a lot of money. So we'll see about that.
That's ridiculous for a bunch of graphical assets.
See, you say that, but with GeoPipe, I'm aware of it takes them a week to do a quarter mile of each of these routes, just placing all the assets.
Well, I know it does. I mean, I understand the labor behind it, but
it's a lot of money.
A consumer, it's I don't feel like I'm getting $20 worth of content out of that.
That's fair.
For $20, I can go buy 5 indie games where I have 60 hours of content apiece almost.
That's fair.
And depending on the kind, I buy a lot more replayability than the same train track I can go ride in real life.
I hear you I hear you on that.
And that's not an argument I want to bring up on stream.
No, I hear. It's certainly not the first time somebody's made an argument like that about Train Simulator. Yeah, it's tough because it is such a labor-intensive thing to make a copy of a piece of the real world. GeoPipe.
I agree completely, and that's why I fully support your current endeavor. Because
Thank you.
I agree it can be automated when there's tools and utilities and data acquisition methods out there to make this 1,000 times easier than somebody sitting there with a mouse pointer and clicking all day long.
Yep. And you make a good point. I mean, I've definitely gotten at least 10 hours, if not more, of play. I want to say more like 20 hours out of some of the routes that I played, more like the East Coast Mainline train simulator route. I'm just going to put us into neutral. Well done. We reached the end. Huzzah! But, yeah, certainly not quite the same as some of the indie games you could get for some similar prices. Well, that was pretty successful. We didn't do bad at all there. Only one speeding, a little bit of wheel slip, and a tiny amount of we decelerated too fast in that second half where we went from Gatwick Airport all the way to Brighton.
So I'm going to correct you on there. You have 2 extra speedings on there from the first half,
okay.
And then that wheel slip's probably up to about 0.5 because you had some wheel slip during the first half as well.
Okay. Hopefully the average still stays 0.3 since it averaged over a longer time.
Yeah, you're probably right there. I mean, you slipped.
I hope so.
It might have gone down too then, actually, because you slipped twice during the first half, I think.
Okay.
I think, again, I don't know.
I'm just thinking like 0.5% would be like 1/200th. So for every 200 seconds I was playing, I was wheel slipping for 1, and that sounds a little bit high.
Yeah, you might be right on that one.
But not perfect. Not perfect. We'll aim for perfection next time.
Bah.
We'll aim for speed and power next time.
Clearly, he needs to go edit his train to be much more realistic to weight to torque ratio. And
I think it is realistic. I think that's the problem because we have 2,000 horsepower in a relatively light car.
Well, that's what I mean. Just throw some weight on it. Just throw some weight on it, or put some cars in front of it to make it slip less and call it a day.
Yep, that's a good idea.
Or add one to the back, put 2 on there.
That would work. That would work nicely, actually. So, when I was still struggling with Train Simulator, I couldn't get it to be convinced that my train had a motor in it. So I'd put the throttle to full and I'd be like, "Oh, you're going 0 miles an hour. Cool." So I actually just stuck an Acela power car on the end and let that push our train along and pretended the CPRR1 was pulling it.
That sounds effective.
It was effective.
I don't disagree with this solution.
It was not prototypical, it was not realistic, but it was effective. So this has been a lot of fun, guys. It's late at night for us. We need to start getting ready for, one more day of Maker Faire tomorrow. We're going to be showing lots and lots of people our cool graphing calculator stuff. If you are somehow watching this before Sunday, September 24th, I say before, it's already Sunday,
You say before and it's already September 24th.
Well, before like 6 p.m. on Sunday, September 24th.
Yeah.
Then do come by the the Hall of Science, the World Maker Faire at the Hall of Science in Queens, New York. We would love to see you at the Chematech booth. If not, then that's fine. Come see us next year or future year. Stop by Chematech. We're always happy to help you with coding, electronics, all that good stuff. On the train, milieu, feel free to, all the usual things YouTube people tell you to do. I'm not going to say it because it's so cliched at this point, but I will say that keep those suggestions and bits of feedback coming. I particularly enjoy those because it lets me get some direction in what I want to do because, there's a lot of things that I enjoy doing in Train Simulator, Minecraft, calculators, all that. And I'm happy to make content that you guys like. And I hope you guys have enjoyed as much as I have having Geek Boy 1011 here.
I've had a lot of fun. Hopefully
Excellent.
You guys actually like the company, and if you did, maybe we'll actually try to figure out how to teleconference in.
Yes.
Do more of the shenanigans because watching the stream can be painful sometimes.
So the trick is sometimes TI Freak 8X and I Skype while we live stream.
Yeah, that would be the solution.
Well, we don't live stream though, is the thing. We record where we're both playing in Minecraft, and since Train Simulator is a single player game, I worry that you being 30 seconds behind could be annoying.
Yeah, the solution there would be to do something of sorts that has a little less latency on the recording and just give me a crappy recording.
Yeah, that would work.
You could give me a 420p screw. Completely fine if your internet can handle it.
Well, hopefully we can figure out a way to get you on the stream in the future.
We will talk about that shortly, I think.
Very good. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Good night.
Michael.
Thank you for the good luck.
And yes, thank you.
It is Sunday. You're in the wrong time zone.
Clearly. You should be here in New York with us getting ready to go to the fair in less than a reasonable amount of time.
Yes. Thanks once again, guys, and see you all in the next video.